want to go straight back to Nick Robertson in Tel Aviv, who is in the middle of these protests that really seem to be heating up. There are fires on the streets. Nick, what are you seeing?
Yeah, Alex, we are joining us in the middle of the crowd here. Just behind us here is the highway. People are gathered to watch what the police are doing. The police just moved in here with the water cannon. They didn't use the water cannon on people. There was a big fire in the highway right behind me. There's the police water cannon going through. Big fire, trees down on the highway. The police moved in to put that fire out. There's also police on horseback here. They're not engaging violently with the crowd, but they are moving through here in a really determined way to put out the fire. And I'm just going to ask Pete to join me here, ask these gentlemen to clear out the way so we can maybe get a better shot, guys, of what's going on. Pete, if you look here, I'm just going to swing over the barrier, get in the road. Pete's going to come over the barrier with me now. So we're in the highway. Now you can get a better picture, Alex, of what is happening here. This is the police water truck that is clearing off the fire in the highway. But I'm also going to just turn around a little here so to paint the whole scene. So you got police on horseback, motorbike, police on horseback here, keeping this big crowd that's on the hillside, keeping them back. And I'll just ask Pete to swing around with me this way as well. And you can see up the street there, the crowd will just move out of the way of this other cameraman. The crowd is still on the street. The police are trying to clear them away. So what you're looking at here really is a crowd control with fires here that have been burning out. We're just moving away to get a little bit away from the sound. Just going to step out in the road a little bit here, Alex, so that you can see what's going on. You have the police up here. This is as you can see, you're joining us in a very active, very mobile bit of this demonstration. The demonstration was in the center of the city. It was around the main defense building. It is all about convincing the Prime Minister to do a deal on the hostages. But here you have a line of police vehicles, policemen on this side of the road over here, and here you have the crowds. So it's moving. A few minutes ago, the focus was down the road there where we were 100 meters away, 100 yards away. Now the crowd is here. It's not a violent situation at all. There's not violence down here, but there's a real sense that people, as we were speaking about before, want to use this moment to find a way to communicate with the Prime Minister that they really want to see change. And the way that they're trying to communicate that at the moment is by shutting the highway. We've seen them try to shut the highway. And when I say highway, this is the main highway that swings north-south in Tel Aviv. The road's clear, but there's no traffic on it at the moment, so it's not really open. So the crowd is trying to make it clear, trying to make their protest clear, and trying to get themselves heard by the Prime Minister, Alex.
Nick, these scenes are certainly something that Hamas would like to see, these deep divisions among the Israeli government and the Israeli people. But this anger from the Israelis towards Netanyahu has been on full display for months. We've all been in those protests. But as you were saying, Nick, this may be the biggest series of protests that we have seen yet, coming on the heels of this horrific news of these 6 hostages who were killed. What are the people out there telling you in terms of why they believe that their prime minister has not agreed to a deal or not done enough to reach a deal that would bring the hostages home?
People here believe that the Prime Minister is looking out for his own political career and future, because if the war ends, if there's a deal and the war ends, he could find himself out of job as Prime Minister. If there was an election, he probably, or his coalition probably, wouldn't be re-elected. And if he was no longer Prime Minister, then it would face a number of criminal charges that are stacked up against him and pending. He can't be charged, and those cases can't go forward while he's Prime Minister. So people believe that he is holding on, not just as he says, because he thinks this is the best way to defeat Hamas, but because it's his own political career that's at stake. Those are the charges that many people believe and level against the Prime Minister. And certainly Yahya Sinwar of Hamas absolutely studies the political situation in Israel. He spent many years learning Hebrew while he was in jail, studying how the politics here works, looking at where divisions are, and is trying to exploit those divisions. He sees the potential to create discord. He sees the moments where he can try to use the people of Israel's pressure on the Prime Minister. This is a Hamas tactic. It appears that by killing these hostages, he is trying to do that. You know, if you will, in the vernacular, the card that he has played here, or the capital he has spent down on his bank balance, if you will, of hostages that he has still alive in reserve, is to send not just a political signal that is not going to negotiate, but to try to undermine the position of the Prime Minister here by actions that he knows will bring people out on the streets here. He knows there's dissatisfaction. He knows that 2/3 of Israelis want to see a peace deal and get the hostages freed, and he is using any means possible to exploit it. That's what he does, and that's one of the things that we're seeing manifested here. But rest assured and understand that people in Israel are acting from their own feelings and their own passions and their own anger with the Prime Minister, that he is not following through on the job that he was voted to do in their opinion. In a new election, he would not be Prime Minister. That's what they believe.
Nick, it does appear that the news of these 6 deaths, these 6 hostages, has sparked something bigger in terms of protest than we've seen in recent months.
And it resonates with so many people here because it exemplifies everything that they feared was going to happen. The fact that the Prime Minister, they believe, was digging in too hard and being intransigent on his side of the negotiations with Hamas. Hamas, it appears, executing 6 hostages, young people who were at the Nova Music Festival for the most part. And that's really caught people's sense here of just everything that could possibly go wrong during the negotiations appears to have happened here. And that's why they're on the streets here tonight. Since you were last down here with us on the highway, the main highway runs north-south through Tel Aviv, people have lit another fire here. This is still a peaceful protest. The police are way off down the street on horseback. They got a water cannon truck there to put out fires. But people here are singing. The placards, again, are the ones that we've seen all evening over the previous weekends, demanding that the Prime Minister make a deal and do a deal now to get the hostages home. There is immense anger and frustration that these 6 hostages died. The sense is that it was needless, that the Prime Minister could have cut a deal if he was more flexible in his negotiations. And this is what the crowd want to gather here today on the streets, outside the Defense Ministry buildings earlier on, now down here on the highway, so they're heard. And why do they feel that they need to do this? Because the Prime Minister, they feel, ignores them. About 2/3 of the country support a deal to get the hostages, the remaining 60 or so who are still believed to be alive, and the others, the 30 or so who are believed to be dead, to get them returned. It's a message they've been trying to communicate with the Prime Minister, but he resists, and his cabinet is still backing him on his decisions. So they're taking to the streets. Tomorrow in Tel Aviv, the municipality here will be going on strike. Some of the big unions across the country will be going on strike. These are the instruments on the streets here. These are the instruments that people in a democracy have to show their dissatisfaction. And they're being shown in a very peaceful way. And the police really seem to understand that. If you sort of come up here and look down the street, still people. And this is what it's about. It's about the hostages. It's about the women, about the girls. This first phase of the peace deal was supposed to see 33 people released. It would have been the elderly, the very young, the sick, and all the women. And there have been videos of these young women being beaten and brutalized by Hamas on October 7th. And that's why people are here. They just want their message to be heard and acted upon. Alex?
Yeah, certainly adding to the pain and anger is the knowledge out there that there were at least 3 of those 6, Israeli-American Hirsch Goldberg Poland, and 2 of the women who would have been released in the first phase of a ceasefire deal, which has not yet been reached.